Today we're going to look at converting between standard units of length and area. So in the past we've already done converting standard units of length. Okay, so we've done millimeters, centimeters, meters, and kilometers. And we have copied this into our notebook in the past. If you'd like to pause the video and copy it now, that's fine. Today we're going to get into looking at standard units of area. So when we find the area of a rectangle or a square or really any other shape, we use millimeters squared, centimeters squared, meters squared, or kilometers squared. Okay, so we always square it. So when we're trying to convert from one unit of area to another, what we're going to do is we're going to take our regular conversion rate. So to go from millimeters to centimeters, we divide by 10, and we're going to square that. So now, instead of dividing by 10, we're going to divide by 100. Okay, and from centimeters to meters, instead of dividing by 100, we're going to square it and divide by 10,000. To go from meters to kilometers, instead of dividing by 1,000 like we would normally, we're going to square that 1,000 and divide by 1,000,000. Okay, and same thing going backwards, but we're multiplying instead of dividing. Let's take a look at some examples here. So I have a sheet of A4 paper. It measures 210 millimeters by 297 millimeters. So first things first, we know we will need our handy dandy calculator. So grab your calculator. Okay, you can follow along with me and do it on your calculator if you wish. A sheet of A4 paper measures 210 millimeters by 297 millimeters. What is the area in centimeters? I can go about this two ways. I can either find the area in millimeters first and then convert to centimeters, or I can convert them to centimeters right away. What I'm going to do is my brain goes, let's find the area in millimeters first, and then I have to do one conversion. Okay? So I'm going to go area equals 210 times 297. If you're having trouble remembering what area is, sometimes it helps to draw a picture. So I'm just going to draw a little picture. There's my piece of paper. Obviously it's not to scale. I have 210 and 297. I know that area is length times width. Okay, this is my length, this is my width, multiplying them together to get area. Alright, so now let's use our handy dandy calculator. 210 times 297 gives me 62,370 millimeters squared. Area is always squared. Okay, so that's what it is in millimeters. But the question asks, what is the area in centimeters? So let's go up to our little conversion rates here. I have millimeters. I want to go to centimeters. Normally, if I wasn't talking about area, I'd divide by 10. But because we're talking about area, we need to square that 10, and we're actually going to divide by 100. So I'm going to take this, divide it by 100, okay? Handy dandy calculator, you don't have to erase it. Divide it by 100 gives me 623.7 centimeters squared. Sorry about that, I didn't see the decimal. There is a tiny little decimal there. There it is, 623.7 centimeters squared. So I've taken the millimeters squared and I've converted it into centimeters using my conversion rate right here. Again, more than welcome to copy this down. Okay, pause the video, copy it down. If you want to pause the video and write down this example, more than welcome to do that as well. Okay, so now let's look at a couple quick conversion questions. Question says, what is 1.4 meters squared as centimeters? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back up to my conversion rates, look for my meters squared. So a meter squared I'm turning it into centimeters, so I'm going back. So normally, if it wasn't area, if it wasn't squared, I'd multiply by 100 because there's 100 centimeters in a meter. But we have to square it because we're looking at area. So 100 squared is 10,000. So I'm going to write this. First, I'm going to write this down here. I'm going to write meters squared to centimeters squared. And it's set up here, multiply by 10,000 times 10,000. Okay? So I've written down my conversion rate there, just so I have it right with me. And so I'm going to go 1.4 times 10,000. Okay? I'll always watch for the decimal now. 1.4 times 10,000. 4 zeros, yes. We have 14,000. So 14,000. We always have to write our centimeters squared. Centimeters squared. Okay? Last question. What is 1 kilometer squared as meters squared? So I'm just going to write down first kilometers squared to meters squared. Then I'm going to take a look at my conversion rates at the top. Kilometers squared to meters squared times 1,000 squared, which would be a million. So I'm going to multiply by a million. So I'm going to write that down here, times 1 million. So 1 times 1 million equals 1 million meters squared. Never forget your units at the end. Okay, so feel free to pause the video, write down the examples, and then you can get working on today's classwork.